Guys, welcome back. I'm Jonas, I'm the piano doctor. I'm an adult piano beginner. Today I will present to you my comprehensive guide for someone who's recently started with playing the piano or who has never played piano before. So this video is going to be divided into a few parts. You're going to see that right now, hopefully. And first and foremost, we are going to begin with the basics. So the basics seem to be fairly obvious, right? Maybe not to everyone. Number one is going to be the instrumentation, actually. What instrument am I about to get? What has no sense at all? What makes a lot of sense? What can I afford price-wise as a student? So we are going to talk about that. And I know each and every one of us who has some idea about piano playing wants to have a Steinway grand piano at one point. Ideally, Steinway D, customized for whatever amount of money. So I will just show you a few pianos that I can recommend to you. And before I do that, I think when you are a beginner and you also live with your family, maybe you have boyfriend, girlfriend, maybe you have neighbors, you really should think about an electric piano and an electric piano at which you can attach headphones to. Of course, if you have your own house and you have an own room, please get a proper piano. Maybe you annoy them at one point, so really think about an electric piano, and I'm going to present a few things now to you.
Alright guys, now when it comes to electric pianos, right, I asked ChatGPT again because ChatGPT is just goated. I mean, you could say that you could do that yourself, but I just wanted to do a comprehensive guide in which you can find anything and everything. So here you have 5 pianos. I had the Roland Roland FP10. I have that myself. It's around 400 euros, I think. It's quite good. But what I have to say, you don't have the soft pedal like the Una Corda, and it feels different to a real piano. All of them feel different to a real piano, I guess. I think there are others that feel more realistic, but the Roland FP10 feels different than a real piano, and it's also very difficult to adjust at the very beginning. Now when you're getting used to switching between electric piano and normal piano, it's okay, but at the beginning it's difficult to adjust. So if you can afford that, I think it's a good option as a beginner, the Roland FP10, and I guess the others as well. So think about it.
So one thing that everyone has to do is learn to read the sheet music. And there's no easy way of doing that, I guess. On the other way, it's not rocket science, it's not super complex, but everyone needs to be able to read sheet music if he or she wants to take the piano practice somehow serious. And I'm gonna show you a few tips and tricks.
Alright guys, so this is a website I found while I was doing my research for the video, and I think it's very helpful if you're a real beginner and you really have no idea about how to read sheet music. I think this article and this video, which you will see here, I will come back to it in just a second, is quite helpful to understand the musical alphabet, all the keys on the piano, right? I would, as I already said before, print out something like this, put it next to the piano. It's very helpful at the very beginning. And I will also link this video so you get a good basis understanding on how to read sheet music.
So next to just learning how to read notes, I think it's super important to understand rhythm. I'm not very good at that, and my piano teacher is probably laughing right now. Yes, because I'm not that good. I've never tried. This is my problem. I'm just recently trying like how to count properly, and I want to save you some time. So now observer mode again. Do it not the way I did it.
So let's now talk about the application I was mentioning. This is the complete rhythm trainer, and this is a great application to get your rhythm going, basically. It has, I know everything is in German, I'm sorry about that, but it's just so you can see how it looks like. You can just really go through that app. You start very easy with quarter notes, how would you count each quarter note, half notes, then full notes, and I think even for me, I had no idea about these things, and I'm still very bad at this, and I'm struggling a lot, and I'm working on it. As you can see, I have 9% completed. I'm very lazy with this, which is not good. But I will link this for you in the description. I think it's very important not to neglect the rhythm. Don't forget about the rhythm. It's highly important. It allows you to count out each bar in the piece you're practicing, which makes a great difference. Otherwise, you're never in tempo, but you're always out of synchro, sort of. You're never in time and your rhythm is off, which is a big problem for me as well, but I want you to prevent that by starting very early with rhythm training.
Alright, chapter 2 is titled Getting Started. Sort of have an idea of what you actually want to play, right? Is it movie music? Is it maybe some cover of some more up-to-date music, whatever it might be, pop, rock, jazz? Or is it classical music? Make yourself aware of that, because otherwise you're gonna lose interest. I'm promising you that. I had that problem when I was like, I would like to practice movie music, and then I couldn't play that. It was out of, then I wasn't playing for a few weeks, and then I was trying to start with very easy classical pieces. So just make yourself very clear what you would like to do with the piano. But if you have had some experience of piano playing, I don't mean years, I mean weeks, the top 5 in my opinion. So first of all is Bach Intervention Sinfonias. You can start at the very beginning of Intervention number 1 and fight yourself through all the interventions in Sinfonias. No one's gonna do that probably, but if you ask Andras Schiff, it would be a very good idea. So start with the very first one. The second group I want to introduce to you is Schumann, Album für die Jugend. Be aware of, this is quite a musical thing, Schumann, Album für die Jugend. So it's not only technical and how you can sort of run with your fingers over the keyboard, but also musical background. And then when you are a little bit more advanced, you can think about Scarlatti. He has great sonatas which are not sonata length, there are a few pages which are quite straightforward. Even for Mozart. Mozart is not easy at all. I think if you're a beginner, if you see Mozart and you see the sheet music of Mozart, this is accessible to most of us beginners. But it will still be quite decent and you will have lots of fun with Mozart. I will present to you one piece in particular which I love very much, and I practiced it for a long time and I really liked it. And I made great progress by playing this piece.
So here we will have the Mozart piece that I would like to show you. I played this a lot and I can highly recommend this to you. Sadly, I don't have a nice recording of it, but still I just wanted to show you the score. The score is very straightforward. It's not super easy and maybe it's not approachable in the first few months, but I think after 6 to 12 months I think this is a very approachable piece. It's great fun. This is a big deal in my opinion. I very rarely had so much fun playing a specific piece. It has everything with it. It has some octaves, it has trills, it has scales, you have staccato passages, right? So you have lots of technical things that you can practice here. And the second movement, the Andante movement, is super beautiful. I will even link this sonata to you in the description so you can check that out. I cannot say so much about the third movement. That was not doable at my time when I was trying to play that piece. So I will not speak on it.
And group number 5, I have not played any of these pieces, but I have heard it a few times. So the Haydn sonatas, there are a few which are quite approachable as a beginner. And I forgot about that, but the prelude in C major from the Wohltemperierte Klavier by Johann Sebastian Bach sort of teaches you something musically, again, how to shape a piece which looks very similar on the sheet music, but you have to shape it so it's interesting and sounds like an actual piece of music that is alive.
So this is gonna be part 3 of my comprehensive piano guide for beginners, and now I'm gonna talk about some resources that you have available to you.
So if you're looking for music to play, and now I'm sorry for anyone interested in other things than classical / romantic music, I will only talk about this right now. So there are a few good resources that I can recommend to you. ISMLP website and the Henle library.
Alright guys, so here this is the Henle application I've been talking about. And when you're on their website, you can very quickly go to instrumentation. Then in our case you're gonna pick keyboard instruments and then you can pick piano solo, right? You can pick any composer here, but today we are gonna pick Johann Sebastian Bach. And here you will see any piano music he wrote, right? On the right hand side you can see the paper-bound version, a digital version. I'm gonna talk a little bit about the digital version as well. Invencios and Sinfonias. They are quite important as a beginner and I will talk about them later on. But what is quite important here is that you can see the difficulty, right? Level 3. And if you're a beginner, I think level 3 easy is the highest level you can play at that moment, right? You can play 1, 2 and 3, but I think 4 might already be a little bit too difficult. Just one thing that I think is very important when it comes to these difficulties, okay, they are not always true, they are not always 100% accurate, but I think when you're starting, this is a good landmark and which can guide you to find your pieces and which can guide you to pieces which are realistic and approachable for you at that very moment. If you are more advanced and have been playing the piano for a few years, maybe you can already play something that is level 7, which on paper maybe is not approachable for you yet, according to the scoring system, but actually in reality you can play it. It's technically doable. What I think is quite helpful as well, if you don't really want to play Bach, let's say, but you want to stay on the same level, 3 easy, right? Then you click here on the right, and then you will get only pieces with that very level, right? So only level 3. Alright guys, now let's talk about the IMSLP page, right? So IMSLP, you can just type it into your browser, and then in the top right, you cannot see that right now on my screen, but in the top right you can type in any score you want to look up. I'm gonna try to find Beethoven Moonlight Sonata, a very famous Beethoven Moonlight Sonata, and then you just press on it, right? Here are some recordings at the very beginning, you don't need that. You will scroll down towards the real score, find something that looks quite normal. I pick this one, and this will take me now, as you can see in the top, around 15 seconds to download, unless you have premium subscription. That's it, you just press on it, you have everything, you have your piece, very fast, very easy, for free, very great. Just one little reminder, sometimes these scores are not 100% accurate, and sometimes there is a note which is not correct or incorrect. This wouldn't happen if you used Henle, but of course Henle, it's not super cheap. On the other hand, this is for free and on demand, you can just get it very fast. So this is an option sometimes for a few people. I actually don't do that, to be honest, but just for you to know, you can use that. Alright, now let's talk a little bit about the Henle library on a tablet. I'm using an iPad right now, but you can use whatever tablet you have. You can just download the application, and I think it's very great. It's very easy, it's very structured. You have here the composers, you can choose whatever you want, right? You can even use the style here. I know everything is in German, but this is Wiener Classic. This is the classic. And now let's come to my library. I just wanted to make this quick and short. You have here again the grading. This is a 6 on the scale from 1 to 9. And this is Romanze, right? And here you have the score. And you can even put the fingering here, let's say. I don't want that here, but it's very easy. I love it. It's great. You can transport the iPad wherever you want to go. You don't need to carry heavy books, so I can highly recommend you to get this.
I have not talked about sort of like insights on how a good practice routine would look like. I will do that in another video, but I wanted to point out and I wanted to stress that you shouldn't forget about pure mechanical or technical exercises. Czerny is very famous for these. He wrote hundreds of them, and I will recommend to you a few of them that you can check out. Different like scales, arpeggios, staccato training, trills.
Okay guys, so this is the book called Die Schule der Geläufigkeit by Czerny. It's opus 299. There's also opus 599. And I think these are very good technical exercises. So when you're about to practice, maybe start 10 to 15 minutes every day when you practice with things like that. Practice some scales. These are scales, let's say, with the right hand. okay? But there are also other exercises. This will cover the left hand, right? And you will also have so-called arpeggios, right? So you can train that every day. Really do that. Practice these exercises very well. I will link both of them to you in the description. You can just get them on IMSLP as a download and maybe get it on your iPad or whatever. So it's Opus 299 and Opus 500.
Advantages and disadvantages of social media, right? On the one hand, as a disadvantage, I think sometimes you are sort of brainwashed that you can reach a crazy piano skill in a week. You can play Rachmaninoff piano concerto in 3 days, whatever, right? And people are of course lying about how long they've practiced and how good they are. And this is of course the bad side of social media. But there are also tons of great resources out there. I will list a few YouTube channels now for you, which I want you to check out. So first of all, Tonebase. You can check out Tonebase, the piano channel, which is, I really love this channel. Secondly, Barton, Barton, I hope I pronounce his name correctly. He's a great pianist, but he's also doing great tutorials. Jane is only, she puts on the sheet music and then you see her hands playing it. Sometimes as a beginner, I had that quite a few times, that you really don't know what is the correct key. And if you don't have someone professional around, no teacher, no one, she almost did that for every important classical / romantic piece, so she's super helpful, so check her out. Wright is another option as well. He also does very good tutorials on different types of pieces. And of course, the piano coach himself, PianoTechSupport, my teacher. I will link all of them in the description below. So, chapter number 4, what to keep in mind. Establish a practice routine. I will talk about this in another video. It's super important. You need to have a good practice routine. You need to commit, it's actually a commitment, then sometime each day, in best case, for playing the piano. And another thing that I think is very important, how do I stay motivated, I think. And I want to give a few insights on how I am staying motivated. But what I think is very important, let's say in my case, I practice on an electric piano, sadly. Then when I know I'm about, or I can play on a very nice grand piano, I'm very much looking forward to this. This is a big highlight for me, actually, like practicing very hard so I can really use my time very well on a real piano. But if you have an electric piano and maybe you live in a bigger city where you can rent a room with a very nice piano, I can highly recommend this to you, because this really keeps you motivated. At least this is how it was for me. And another tip that I think is really important, you need to set yourself goals. In my case, I set myself a goal that I want to give a piano recital. I didn't need to do that, no one forced me. I'm not in a music class like when I was a kid, and even put a deadline on it, 24th of July, deadline. This keeps me motivated, it pushes me even to practice better and harder. And sometimes this is what is needed, especially when it's only a hobby and it's very easy to get distracted. Another way of staying motivated is setting goals apart from giving a piano recital, but maybe record yourself professionally. Try to go to piano studio and record yourself professionally and share this on social media, on YouTube with friends and family. Set a deadline for that as well, but stress is sometimes needed. Sorry. But this keeps you motivated as well. And now, apart from, let's say, very physical goals, concert in person, giving a recital, doing a recording of whatever, right? There are also mental motivation. Can be a specific piece that you really want to play. It keeps me motivated because one day I will play it, fingers crossed. Or you are really looking forward at one point to buy yourself the instrument of your dreams. So this keeps me motivated as well. So set yourself goals, because if you lose interest, you lose the whole game basically, because then you will never improve. Then you cannot complain of not improving because you never really tried. Before I forget it, I think what also can keep you motivated is attending concerts. Concerts of your favorite pianists. In my case, it's Igor Levit, for instance. Forward to it, but it also keeps me motivated. I want to improve my piano skills. Of course, I will never play in Baden-Baden or with the Berlin Philharmonics. No, that I will see this person playing in person will keep me motivated just to keep on practicing.
Alright, so this is gonna be my very last part number 5 of this comprehensive piano guide. And now I'm gonna talk about some pitfalls you might be facing while on your piano journey.
This is chapter number 5 right now. A few pitfalls that I want you to be very aware of. Get a teacher. I think getting a teacher boosts everyone's skills by a crazy margin. Getting a teacher helps you finding mistakes you didn't know that were there. You are improving in so many aspects, technical aspects, musical aspects. There's so much. It's an endless list of things we as beginners cannot solve by ourselves. It's impossible. You need someone who takes care of that. So yes, but this is highly recommended by me. And another pitfall is be careful of not getting injured. The problems I had were always on the left side, never on the right. My right hand had never any problems, even though I'm sure I didn't hold my hand correctly for many hours. But be careful not to get injured. Usually you shouldn't have any pain, especially if you're just practicing too much and if you're exaggerating. And I think the most important of it all is giving up. I think it's easy to give up, right? Giving up is always easy, but it's difficult to keep on going, keep on practicing. I find myself quite a few times already to see people who apparently have practiced for basically the same time as I have, let's say around 2 years, and who are on a higher level than me. And then I start to be like, why and what can I improve? I have to practice, whatever, right? So these people should inspire you. You can draw lots of inspiration from these people. And on the other hand, don't take yourself too serious sometimes, right? It's okay to do crazy mistakes when you are giving a recital. It's okay to not improve and to come at the point, especially at the very beginning, you're going to improve a lot. Then after a year, maybe you're like, wow, I'm stuck now. What do I do now? I don't improve technically. I'm just stuck. I cannot play more difficult pieces. You need to grind through that, and it will be worth it, I'm sure about it. Even if it takes years. So this is it. I hope you enjoyed it. I have no idea how long this video is gonna take. I hope I can, maybe around 20 minutes, we will see. So I hope you enjoy it, and check out my Instagram. I will link it to you in the description. I will link a lot in the description actually. So I hope to see you the next time. And until then, enjoy your weekend. It's weekend for me, and see you next time. Bye bye.
So that you can use, this is the one I can recommend to you, the AKG K240. It's around 70 euros. It's quite good. I've been using that for all my electric piano time, so I can recommend this to you. It's not super expensive. It's quite good. So check it out.